party was hiding from the second blizzard in the Heels Sheriff office. The blizzard had been roaring for 7 hours and showed no signs of ending anytime soon. Thunder leaned against a cell door next to Clax, an old mercenary acquaintance of his. "So, did you hear what's going on with the Harpers?" Clax asked. "No, what happened?" Thunder lied. "So, Maverick Harper, badass adventurer, mob boss, toughest son of a bitch under the sun, he went and got himself married. This is wife number 3, by the way, but shit, he's so head over heels in love with this young thing that he decided to retire from running the mafia that controls the ports. Now, the obvious question is, who got left in charge? Who? Wasn't his brother Clay, wasn't one of the other Dons. Nah, Papa Maverick decided to pass control down to one of his shithead kids. Now, you've met the middleist, Reese. Lazy fuckboy man-whore, not an ambitious bone in his body. No way he'd end up in charge. So, that leaves the twins and the princess. Ryder and Welder say Pops left them in charge, little Clementine says the same, and let's just say things got a little bit heated. Some bullets got fired, Clementine fled the city, and anyway, the twins have put a 20,000 gold bounty on her rocky head. Triple if she gets brought in alive. What's your point? The point, my good friend, is that I am eager for a very big payday. But, alas, I am in need of a bit of help. No. Come again? I've got another scheme I'm working on, and the old man would never let me hear the end of it if I helped you. Right then, without warning, the blizzard ended. Clax laughed. Well, suit yourself, pal. I'm gonna go get rich. He kicked down the boards over the sheriff's office door and walked out into the warm night. Juror pulled out his communicator and did a quick scan of the energy levels. How long until the next one? Alusai asked. 168 hours. The next one will come on the 16th, right as the clock strikes midnight. That's good. We have time. No, it isn't good. The storms are getting longer, and the time between them is shrinking. I don't know what will happen when the gap reaches 0, but it cannot be good. Meanwhile, Orrin let out a deep breath as he dropped concentration on an invisibility spell. Tim Tom appeared right next to him. Thank you for everything you did, sir. Shut up and listen. I just saved your skin. In return for this, I need you to get a message to the Rocksteadies. Tell them Brittleback is back and he needs help getting out of the country. Got that? Of course, I'll tell them that. And don't come around here again. You were stupid to get caught once, and I'm not saving you a second time. Tim Tom climbed through a window and ran away into the dark night. Meanwhile, Clax arrived at the abandoned house across the street from the sheriff's station. A fire was burning in the middle of the room, and dead monsters were spread across the house. He felt a machete rub against the side of his neck. Clementine Harper was standing in the shadows, injured. She'd fought her way through the blizzard, alone, but only barely. Howdy, Clementine. That's a nice blade you got there. Did my brothers send you? Not me specifically, but I saw you earlier, during the storm. Clementine moved the blade closer to his throat. How about you pull that blade back, and I pretend I didn't see you? That works the best for both of us, I think. I can't risk you telling my brothers about me. Well then, looks like we've reached an impasse. Clementine slashed across the side of his neck as Clax drew his pistol. He shot her in the stomach. She knocked the gun out of his hand and he reached into his pocket, pulling out a sphere made out of metal ribbons. He threw it at Clementine and the sphere unfurled, wrapping around her and chaining her up. Iron Bands of Bilaro, any bounty hunter's best friend. As he said this, Clementine's spiritual weapon flew out of the darkness, striking him in the face. He responded by kicking her in the head, making her drop concentration. He reached for his gun. A halberd was stabbed down into the ground in front of him before he could grab it. He looked up to see Alusai and Thunder glaring at him. What do you want with our associate? Heard on the grapevine that her brothers want her to come home. She is with us, and I would prefer her not taken, especially not by someone who claims her as his quarry. You know what? Sure. How about we go our separate ways? Have you seen a short man with spiky red scales? What? No, why? Shame. Thunder gunned Clax down. Alusai ripped off Clementine's bindings. He offered her his hand and she slapped it away. Lil miss, your name is Clementine Harper, isn't it? Don't make a habit of calling me that. You seem to be caught in a bit of trouble here. I have things under control. Tied up, half dead from hypothermia, that is under control. Par for the course of my line of work. Don't worry, if I couldn't handle it, I would have been dead a long time ago. I'm concerned for your safety. I don't need you to worry about me. She stormed out of the house. Thunder chased after her. When you get to Rygym, there will be 100 guys like Clax gunning for you. I can protect myself. No, you can't. I don't need your pity. Hey, I just gave up 30,000 gold for your sake. I did not do this out of sentimentality. I did it because I expect to be paid back in full. And if you don't, well, I'll settle for the 20k. Fine, I will allow you to serve me. The party left Heel by train in the morning, arriving in Rygym, capital of the frontier, on the 11th. God, I hate this town. What is wrong with it? About a decade ago, I came down here to help out some dock workers. Things didn't go well because half of this town is owned by the Harper family. Gangsters? The worst kind. Bunch of greedy pricks. Only care about funneling money up top. Hey, if you run into any of these people, do me a solid and remember my old motto. The only good Harper is a dead Harper. Understood. The party went their separate ways, which is good for narrative and complicated to actually DM. Alusai and Jiru stayed together and went to the Capitol building to meet with Governor Marcus Hall to ask him to send aid to the eastern villages and to ask for help in finding Kylo Cold respectively. They were turned away and told that the governor wasn't in at the moment. Alusai asked for the lieutenant governor instead and was told that the lieutenant governor would be busy all day and would be visiting the opera house that night. Alusai asked if there was anyone else he could meet with. He was kicked out onto the curb. This is frustrating, but I will return tomorrow. Do you know if your target is in Rygym? Hard to say. My communicator is still fried. They were going to try and beam me down near his life signature, but something must have gone wrong because Kylo Cold wasn't in Road's End. Meanwhile, Thunder was waiting in an alley outside a restaurant. One of the waiters, a young tiefling man, carried out a garbage bag to throw in a dumpster. Thunder grabbed him from behind. You Virgil? That's me! Are there any of Wilder or Ryder's men around here? There are some in the restaurant, but not outside. Good. I'm here on the behalf of Clementine. Thunder dragged Virgil to an abandoned factory near the restaurant where Clementine was hiding. Virgil ran up and hugged her. Thunder, this is Virgil, my spy within the family. He's a friend of mine who my uncle adopted a few years back who, if he's smart, has been listening to everything that's been said in the family's restaurant. Clem, you can't be here. The city's filled with people who want you dead. When was it not? Besides, my brothers are morons. I can't allow them to run the family business into the ground. I'm going to take back control of the family, what my father gave to me, because he understood that I'm his only offspring worth a damn. Now then, what have you heard? Just rumors. Ryder and Wilder, they've been going around saying that your dad came back after your fight. Clem, they're saying you killed him. Oh, come now, that's the best they can come up with? Whatever, it will not be difficult to dispel those lies. Virgil, you are to contact my father and demand he come back here and set the record straight. Of course, I'll get on that right away. What's the situation at the docks? I mean, these blizzards have been a godsend for the twins. They've raked in a fortune from smuggling in food and clothing and smuggling out people. And, Clementine, they're using that money to hire mercenaries to hunt you down. How are you going to fight them? The Dons will side with me once I contact them. Uncle Clay will, certainly. I was always his favorite. Where is Clay, by the way? I'm not sure, but I can get a message to him. Good. Tell him to meet me at his theater at 9 p.m. Will do, boss! Artemis also took an opportunity to meet with a criminal contact. She walked up to a large man wearing a hoodie and sunglasses who was eating a hot dog in the marketplace. Jet? Artemis? Been a while, hasn't it? I was dealing with some personal shit. Last time I saw you, I hired your group to steal a gun. My buyer never got it and he's pissed. I ran into some trouble. Look, I'm here because I need some info. What kind of info? Recently, I made an acquaintance who hasn't been forthcoming with information. And frankly, if I'm gonna trust her, I need to know who she is. Just tell me what you know. She's an Earth Genasi like you. Late 20s, kinda grumpy, has skin like marble. There was some guys trying to kill her a week ago in Road's End. Jack kept his poker face. I've heard of her, he said. What can I do to loosen your lips? I've got a contract that needs someone stealthy. You finish this job for me, I'll throw in some info with your pay. Sounds good. By the way, if you tell anyone I asked about this girl, it won't end well for you. Understand? Artemis, confident in her intimidation, turned to walk away. Where the fuck are you going? I haven't given you any details whatsoever yet. Oh right, information, I needed that. Here's the job. Right now, Governor Hall's out of town for a meeting. His mansion is less defended than normal. You want me to ransack that place? No, I want you to stealthily alter financial records and retrieve specific items. When Marduk took over the frontier, they distributed bearer bonds to help stabilize the frontier's economy. These bearer bonds were sold for 200 gold, but will be worth 2,500 gold each 20 years after they were issued, i.e. in 5 years. Hall still has 64 unsold bonds which he keeps in the safe to cash out when he retires. And you want me to steal all of them, got it. No, I need you to steal 18. No more, no less. I also need you to find the logbook in Hall's office and add a backdated financial record saying 18 bonds were sold to Shire Financial 15 years ago. That's SHIR Financial. If there isn't a record, the bonds are worthless. What's in it for me? Besides your information, my buyer will give you 300 gold for each bond. Security at the mansion will be scaled back, but there will still be guards. You also might find the governor's wife. This goes without saying, but don't hurt her. Neither of us wants that type of heat. Meanwhile, Oren went to the docks to try and find a boat leaving the frontier. Shockingly, he wasn't the only one to have this idea. The docks were filled with people trying to flee, and every boat for the next 2 weeks was more than overbooked. He talked around and found out that there were merchant ships that would smuggle people out of town for a hefty price he couldn't afford. He also learned that the Harpers were offering a 20,000 gold bounty for a certain target. The idea of working for these gangsters, it disgusted him, but he was desperate. He marched down to the Harper shipping warehouse and demanded to talk to the boss. After a couple of persuasion checks, he found himself sitting across the desk of Ryder Harper, one of the new heads of the family. You said you knew where my sister was? No, I said I knew how to find her. The way you're going about things, having different bounty hunters compete with each other, it ain't smart. I know a surefire way to find your target, and I'm willing to tell you for a price. I don't like being told how to run my outfit. I especially don't like being bossed around by some man who just walked in demanding money. Not money. A trip on one of your ships, that's all I need. That's worth fixing your sister problem, isn't it? Alright, tell me your brilliant strategy then. Oren pulled out a sending stone and set it on the desk. See this? It's a sending stone. Your dock workers use them to communicate with the ships coming into the harbor to find which ones are smuggling in illicit goods. What's your point? What you're doing, having a bunch of different mercenaries compete with each other, it ain't working. They aren't sharing info, and if they do find her, there's a good chance she'll kill them first. What you're going to do now to catch the girl is take these sending stones and give them out to as many low-level grunts as you can muster. Pay them 100 each in advance to search the city in a grid and call in any information on your sister. Have them search every single building in Rygym and give them 1,000 for any actual sighting. You want me to pay people to do nothing? These are desperate times, boss. They'll search everywhere, and when they find her, they'll call it in. Then, you send in every enforcer you have to that location and have them pump her full of buckshot. Pay them however much you think that's worth, half of it up front. Your idea is a waste of money. My idea will find her. So, about my boat ticket. Listen here, you wrinkled prick. I'll try the sending stone plan. It's a good idea, but you aren't getting anything from me until my sister is dead, understand? Fine. I'm keeping the sending stone, by the way. I'll call in anything I see. Whatever. Happy hunting, Harper. That night, Artemis climbed over the fence outside the governor's mansion. Thunder jumped down after her. They snuck through the yard, ducking in and out of bushes to avoid the patrolling guards. Thunder climbed up the exterior wall into the master bedroom and tossed down a rope. Artemis climbed in after him. As they searched the bedroom for a safe, the First Lady walked into her bedroom. She gasped as Artemis held her gun up to the wife's head. You didn't see us. We were not here. Do you understand? Artemis said, her rolling on intimidation. The wife nodded. Good. We're going to lock you in the bathroom now. By the way, where's your husband's safe? The pair snuck into Governor Hall's study. Artemis blasted open the safe and grabbed the bonds, while Thunder searched the desk for the logbook. As he did, he found an open letter sent to the governor from Jackson Rhodes, Prime Minister of Mardig. Dear Marcus, it began, your plan is risky, but I suppose it is necessary to preserve the peace and security of the Western Territory. If this fugitive you speak of truly possesses the weapon you've described, then the years of chaos may finally be put to an end. Begin Operation Cold Front at once." Thunder pocketed the letter. He stood outside while Artemis met with Jet to get their payment. "That girl you wanted info on, is she a friend of yours?" "Not really. Why does it matter?" "A lot of people want to see Clementine Harper dead. And, to be frank, she kinda has it coming." Meanwhile, Clementine snuck into the Underdark Theater, an ornate opera house owned by her Uncle Clay. She paid little attention to the opening act, which featured a snake man being dragged onto the stage and forced to fight a pack of wild dogs. Clementine opened the door to her uncle's box, expecting to find an ally. What she found instead was her brother Wilder, sitting with an important-looking man, laughing as he watched the carnage. Clementine reached for her machete, then decided against using it, noticing the guard standing behind her brother. She turned around and ran. After dark, Orin met with Jiru and Alusai for dinner. "How's saving the world or whatever going?" "Poorly. How are your attempts to flee going?" "They're going okay. Those mobsters I talked about, I made a deal with them. I'm helping them track down a missing relative in return for a ticket to safety." "Thought you stated that the only good Harper was a dead Harper." "Sure. Why should I give a shit when they kill each other?" Alusai sighed, stood up from his table, and reached for his halberd. "What have you done?" "I taught the Harper goons how to work together as a team. Pretty soon they'll find the younger sister and pump her full of lead as a team. Do you feel proud of what you're doing? Helping an army kill a single girl?" "I'm just trying to get by, Alusai." "The problem is, my very foolish grandson has inserted himself into this conflict, and now he is going to get himself hurt." Orin's sending stone buzzed, giving him Clementine's coordinates. "So, where is the shooting going to take place?" At the same time, at the store where Jet was paying Artemis, his own sending stone beeped. He explained what was happening and ran towards the meeting spot. Artemis and Thunder came with. Clementine stepped out of the theater. 7 armed men were waiting for her. They raised their guns. The bullets began flying. Specifically, the bullets coming from Thunder's guns as he ran towards the theater, Artemis and Jet following closely behind. The men turned towards the source of the gunfire, confused, as Clementine summoned a swarm of spirit guardians to attack them. The two sides fired at each other. Artemis blasted the goon's head apart with her magic gun. As the goon's body fell over, the markings on Artemis's arm began to glow. She heard the gun whispering in the back of her mind. After failing a wisdom save, she did what it commanded and shot another goon in the heart. One goon fought through the spirit guardian, slicing across Clementine's chest with a knife. She killed him with her machete, but was knocked out immediately afterwards by a different goon. The goon attempted to strike her while she was down, only to be blasted away by Jet's shotgun. Alusai and Orin watched from 2 blocks away as they ran towards the fight as the remaining pair of goons aimed at Thunder. Orin cursed under his breath and decided to do something he knew he'd regret. He pointed at the already raging, already large Alusai and cast Enlarge Reduce, making him a 32-foot-tall, huge creature. Alusai threw his telephone pole-sized halberd through one of the goons, then with his second attack, kicked the last goon so hard he made a twinkle in the sky, a la Team Rocket. He reached down, cast Spare the Dying on Clementine, then told Artemis to keep an eye on her. He disappeared into the night. The party dragged Clementine back to the hotel, where Thunder shook her awake. "There are things we must discuss, Miss Harper."